to the I-80 Club and another Saturday morning coffee show. Josh Peterson, Jack Mitchell with you on this first Saturday in the month of August. Jack, we are 3 Saturdays away from week 0. How are you?
I am ready to go. I'm very excited. It kind of feels like we've arrived because tonight is this public practice. We're going to have lots of tweets and articles and reaction and talk about actual football information like that people are witnessing. So it feels like we've arrived. It's very exciting. We are, in fact, we're at the point with Josh. We are so busy with getting I-80 Club ready for the season that we're going to have a weird thing in these last 3 weeks where I'm okay with it going a little slow in some ways.
Because we just got so much planned for
we've kind of decided to take on a real lot over the course of a very short, important period of time.
Yes.
But it's good. It's all good stuff. It's great stuff. It's exciting stuff. It's just a lot. So
yes, it is. Corey writes, the weather really makes it feel like football has arrived. It definitely has.
Did you go outside last night at all?
Oh, yeah.
Last night was ridiculous.
Yeah. This is what you dream about, right? Like this is why you deal with 78-degree Wednesday mornings throughout July and June. This is why you do it.
Exactly. You wait. I mean, I've been calling it on my radio show, the Pumpkin Spice Preview. It's a little 5-day period here in Lincoln and Omaha where we're getting fall-like weather.
Yeah.
And it'll be back into the 80s by next week.
Like 3 days from now. Yeah, for sure.
But it's been great. It makes it feel like football. I got my in-laws in town. We're going golfing tonight, which I hate, but I'm doing it.
Wait, golfing? Or are you going to go to do like the thing like in the bays where you
I wish.
Like, top golf? No. You're playing actual golf?
Yes.
Wow. Oh, interesting. All right. Well, good luck to you, Jack.
I can't wait.
Good luck to you. Good luck.
And there was no tee time available. We decided yesterday, and there's no tee time in Lincoln available.
It's so nice.
Till like 5 p.m. So awesome.
Yeah. Well, welcome in everybody. If you are hanging out for the first time, if you are just discovering the I-80 Club, I'm Josh Peterson. My partner is Jack Mitchell. We are moving into our 4th football season on the air together, and we have seen a lot of growth in recent weeks. So we're happy that you have been able to find us, and we hope that you enjoy what we have to offer today. If you would like your comment read, there's 2 different ways you can do so. Patreon.com/I-80 Club. You can join our Discord. That's where we read the majority of the comments throughout these podcasts. But if you want to drop us a super chat, we will do so as well on YouTube. Jack, we are a couple of days removed from games 10 through 6 in the Groin Kick Chronicles. We have 1 full episode to go. 5 games remain. 2018 Colorado, 2018 Northwestern, 2019 Colorado, and 2021 Michigan State, and last year's loss to Iowa. The final 5 games, which one is number 1? Jack, if people want to check this podcast out, it's actually already available in the feeds of our patrons at patreon.com.
So they can know. Are you worried someone's going to spoil it or tweet it out?
That would be sad. That would be very sad. I told people in the Discord server the other night, I said, please don't tweet out which of these 5 games is number 1. But, I mean, I guess if it happens, it happens. So.
And they just tweeted it out.
Yeah. I all this work that I did, and they just tweeted
it out.
Yeah. So that's coming on Thursday. We actually have the epilogue, Jack, scheduled for patrons on Thursday. And that'll be in the free feed in a couple of Thursdays because this Thursday in the free feed will be episode 5 through 1. So we have that. We also just did a special crossover Be Kind Husker Rewind Groin Kick Chronicles for the 2015 BYU game. And then on Wednesday, Jack, we're rewatching the 2023 Minnesota loss. So we're not beating the allegations that we're haters.
Keena's comment is killing me. She click on her little secret there. It's very funny. Mm-hmm. Another painful Be Kind Husker Rewind coming up on Wednesday. If you missed the BYU one, I would advise finding it and watching it or listening to it because there were a lot of moments. Let's just say that.
There were.
I mean, having the tweets in there with the frequency and kind of Matt kind of perfecting the whole process. It
Jack,
adds a whole new dynamic to the game.
Yeah, and the best part, and I can't wait to figure out, Jack, with the 23 Minnesota game, what were the Husker scribes tweeting about? We learned in the most recent game that we did, it was a lot of Mikhail Wilbon, and they saw him in camp, and also Sean Callahan hates rugby punters.
But
he wants them launched into the sun.
It wasn't just him; it was everyone sort of like talking trash about that punter. Like,
check out our punter. He's a real man.
But like typically neutral media, like they were getting on. I mean, I kind of feel bad for that dude. I mean, just a BYU punter.
Yeah, indeed. So we did that on Wednesday. We'll do another one. Also, we have some other special goodies coming for you next week as well. A brand new podcast from Jack and I that will drop, I believe, Jack, on Friday morning, an interview that we're recording on Tuesday. So that'll come on Friday morning, and the I-80 football show is going to begin in earnest very, very soon as well. And I already have like 6 or 7 guest booked for that one. So all that's available, patreon.com/I80 Club. We would love, thank you. We would love to have you join us there for as low as $5 a month. There will also, one more thing, and then we can get this thing going, Jack. Brand new volleyball state tomorrow. They are moving now into their in-season schedule, which will be Sunday nights, usually live for patrons, and then it will go out publicly on Tuesday. They've actually already recorded tomorrow night's episode, but it will be available tomorrow night at 7 o'clock. So they will have Sunday night pods moving throughout the season, and you can get everything that they do, all the bonus stuff, all the extra newsletters, Volleyball Late, which will be their new post-game show. Again, patreon.com/I80 Club. It's going to be awesome.
We have started, we are just building, but we have the first available merch gear in the Volleyball State store too. There's going to be more coming, so if you want to see what else is coming, they have some other concepts that Josh is working on, but we have just, if you want to, they have a cool logo that Josh also designed that you can get on gear that I am going to be putting in an order here probably later today or tomorrow. So
awesome. So all that's available. We're going to try to put some new gear in there as well. We know that people have been wanting stuff for a variety of things. We just need to get off of our ass and do it.
We didn't even realize, but the Bratzky Ball Crown stuff wasn't even in there. So it's in there kind of late, but that's in there now. So
I'm so confused because I uploaded it and somebody bought something with it. Royals Girl bought something. And so
I have no idea. It wasn't in there. It wasn't in there.
It disappeared. I think someone
it's whatever.
Sabotage.
It is in now. Yes, yes, that's what happened.
Yeah.
So, but it's in there now.
All right, so that's what we got going up. Jack, we had a couple of different prompts for today's show. You know, one of the ideas that I had, just because you know how it is, man. Every offseason rolls around, and college football media and fans, I would say my co-host John Bishop, they complain about, like, everything. You know, like, sometimes it doesn't seem like a lot of people like the sport. And so on Split Zone Duo this week, they had a bonus pod, and I thought that it was a really interesting kind of idea behind it, and I will read it to you right now. It was, why do you love college football? And so that got an idea for me, and that was, why are you excited for the 2025 season? And it could be local, it could be national, so we want to hit on that. But should we start, Jack, before we get to why we're excited for the season, with I don't know, just some news and general reaction? I sent you that really long tweet that Jake Butt sent out yesterday. Former Michigan tight end. He was in Lincoln for the practice that Nebraska had yesterday. And Jack, those who don't want to be excited about the 2025 Nebraska football season, I don't know if they're going to like this tweet very much. I don't think that they're going to like this tweet very much.
Couple of things. Number one, the whole BTN thing that they did is that it aired last night. I'm sure they'll keep airing it, but record it if you didn't, or watch it. You'll probably get it on BTN Plus if you don't have that. So I got about half of it done, and then I had some other stuff come up, so I didn't finish it. But now the only other thing to say is, and we've made these jokes before, right? The BTN, they don't really go in on the BTN thing and say anybody sucks, right? I mean, it is pretty generally positive, right? And why would they, right? They don't. They're getting hosted. They're not going to come in and just, really talk about weaknesses. It's about accentuating the positive, and so it's just worth keeping that in mind, as I always do when these folks are there. Now, with all that said, yeah, it fired me up. Yes, 100%.
Yeah, Jake's tweet. It began with essentially a little kind of recap of, well, not really a recap, Jack. He just mentions, hey, Nebraska, what's the story of Nebraska football lately? One score, close games, winning or lack thereof in November, small details. So how do you fix change that. And he wrote, it's not a massive sweeping change. It's in fact, it's the opposite. It's a lot of the little things that are going to build up. And so he mentioned that it shows up for the team in a variety of few ways. One of them was involving the offensive line and kind of how they entered onto the field and how Donovan Raiola, essentially it was like, whoa, why are you doing it this way? You need to do it with a bit more energy. So I guess I assumed that it was Donovan Raiola. He mentioned coach blows the whistle. He didn't say it was Rule, so I assume it was Raiola. So that was one thing. There was another in terms of how the receivers or running backs were handing the ball or not handing the ball to the officials. Don't toss it to them, hand the ball to them. And that was something apparently that was emphasized. And there was also a moment in the practice where 12 men were on the field. Rule blew the whistle, had them run a gasser. He says, this will be what you want it to be, was a quote from Matt Rule. So emphasizing
he likes saying that. He says that sort of stuff all the time.
Yeah, and but I wanted to read this paragraph, Jack, because I think that this is the part where for those who don't want to be excited, earmuffs, as Chuck said a few moments ago. Most of the key coaching points were small details about situational football. That will decide what season this will be for Nebraska football. It's clear to me they have a top-tier quarterback. Wide receivers are studs. Offensive line looks lean, strong, deep. They'll be better. Defensive secondary is deep and experienced. They have plenty of talent combined with the schedule to be very much in the hunt for a playoff spot. But they are not built to blow out most of the teams on the schedule. Meaning, expect close games. Small details, focus, communication, execution will separate Nebraska or someone else from the pack. Excited to watch this team. Will be amazing and electrifying. Whenever the day comes for Nebraska to host a playoff game, remains to be seen if that will be this year or not. Jack, how you feeling?
I need
how you feeling?
I am very excited. Anyway, yeah, forget all that shit I just said a few minutes ago about take this with a grain of salt. Let's go.
Yeah.
Wow. He really was effusive, wasn't he?
Mm-hmm.
Really was effusive. And in watching it, the show, or at least the first half of it that I did, man, listen, I get it. Look, you don't need to tell me that sometime hype turns into disappointment, okay? But that's okay. I like the feeling of hype. I like how it makes, me tingle. So I am gonna embrace the hype. I know others don't, but I it fuels me. I enjoy it. It makes me happy. And especially, Josh, you know which one's making me tingle the most this year? Oh, that offensive line talk. And it's starting to, you guys hit on it with me on your show yesterday. And then I watched this thing last night, and there they are again talking about the Jimbo Moore Award or whatever that made up thing
so weird.
is.
I like how you and John tried to make me feel bad for knowing something about college football that everybody who watches college football knows about. Pretty wild. Anybody who knows something about college football knows about the Joe Moore Award. Again, I thought you liked football. I thought you knew ball, Jack.
I do. We're going to talk about that. I don't know awards, Josh. I'll tell you that. Awards have gotten out of control.
You never heard of the Heisman Trophy?
I'm very familiar with the awards that were given out in 1988. Yes. Very familiar with those.
Interesting.
But in any case, I'm not trying to demean the offensive line through that. I just didn't know that award was a thing, and I still kind of don't. But Rocco, all those
You're starting
guys,
to get excited about the offensive
I'm starting
line.
to get excited about that. And then I heard Emmett Johnson and Dylan Raiola talk about him, and those guys. I mean, listen, you say what you want about those guys, but they're pretty good hype men. And I'm just excited about the whole kind of sort of buddy comedy movie that Emmett Johnson and Dylan Raiola is, and I just want those two to succeed. And they're like best friends, but they're also really good in interviews. And I don't know, I'm just excited, man. I don't know. The offensive line thing is like they're doing a good job of getting my ceiling, like raising the possible ceiling on my thoughts about the offensive line.
Yeah.
And I guess the question is, and this goes to the question that you asked me on your show yesterday, which was like, well, like how I can't remember what actually I don't know.
Are you talking about the Spindler question? The one where I said you allowed yourself to think that the offensive line won't just be good, but could be a strength.
Yes. Basically that. And my answer to that has just been, well, like we know who a bunch of those guys on the offensive line are because they've had tons of experience, And so there's not really going to be a surprise. I think there's probably room to grow for Gatula, and if Prohaska would stay healthy, he could have some significant room to grow. But, I think Lutovsky and Corcoran, they're pretty established in who they are. But it's just like, if you combine all of that sort of depth and experience with the two transfers coming in, and the transfers being really good, that's when it explodes to me. If you get the best out of that experience group, you combine them with those two guys and Evans and probably Lutovsky, and then whoever that next tackle is, pick the best one out of that whole group to be the other tackle. And that, like, again, it's a ceiling thing that wasn't there before. And that's what this whole team is. And maybe it always is that. Maybe I'm just realizing this is what we say at the beginning of every year, but I feel like there's a ceiling on the offensive line that there wasn't before. And it's primarily because of that transfer class.
Jack, do you think people are more jaded on, hey, the offensive line is going to be good this year, or hey, the wide receiving core is going to be good this year? What position group are people more jaded
O-line.
on? You think so? Because it's been a longer proposition.
Yep, 100%. It's been like 20 years. It's been since Spinoti.
Has it been since Crouch's year, like last year, where after that everyone was trying to pine for the days of prior to 2002? So it's probably been 23 years.
Yeah, like I guess I asked the question, like, what is the best offensive line post Solich?
God, that's a great question.
Probably one of Callahan's.
I was gonna say, is it like 06?
Yeah, it's probably 06. I think.
See, but even then, though, like those offensive lines, like when they played good teams, they struggled sometimes, like big time struggled sometimes.
I mean, I feel like in 2008, 2009, we were saying this. Oh, we always hear the offensive line is looking good this year, and it never happens. I feel like we were saying that 15 years ago already.
Matt says 2010 wasn't bad. I would agree. I mean, that offensive line, they were able to run the football, and they also had some really good running backs. But I thought they were able to get some push in 2010, throughout, a lot of that season, especially in the good games that they had. I mean, Roy Lou rushed for 300 yards against Missouri, though. How much of that was
Searles and Ricky Henry, and is that who that was? Caputo?
Probably, yeah. I bet Caputo was on that offensive line. Yeah. Chuck says, if this offensive line is a strength man, Dylan should have fun. Yeah,
Emmett should have fun.
Yeah, and that's why I loved posing that question to you yesterday, Jack, because I think a lot of us are in agreement that the offensive line can be solid to good, but strength is a different connotation that comes with strength.
And again, let's be clear. It comes from those two guys. It comes from those two transfers. They're the potential ceiling raisers on this thing. And, we don't know about them. They both have some slight unknowns for different reasons, but I think that's where the excitement is coming from, right? Yeah. If those two guys weren't there and it was, it was Bryce Benhart again or something like that, it kind of feel like another year, right? Just another year. But two transfer starters is a very different situation. And then combined with, I don't know, what is it, 7? I mean, even outside of the starting lineup, probably another 4 guys who have super extensive experience. Like they probably have 9, 10 guys.
Remember, that was one of the things that we really, really liked about the spring was, injuries were a bummer, but it also gave a lot of players chance to get practice reps, deep on the offensive line depth chart. And I viewed that as a huge positive, that it's like, oh, all the starting experience you have isn't practicing right now. That's fine. Sign me up, because then that means that the players a little deeper on the depth chart are going to be able to get some reps.
Yeah.
And so we'll see if that ends up actually mattering.
And so my excitement has been the way my excitement has been sort of affected by the hype. The last, even just like the first week of news of practice, is about the offensive line and the running game. That's what it's about for me. Those are the things that I've gotten excited about. Mm-hmm. And Danke, I think, to some degree too, but I think those are the big ones. I don't feel like I've heard a whole lot more about the defense that's changed the way I think about it. So that's where it is. But man, I don't know. I hope we are right about Emmett Johnson so much, Josh.
Dude, Jack, if you
I want to
and
be right about Emmett Johnson so bad.
First of all, it'd be cool because like you and I planting a flag and then being correct on it is always fun, because then we can remind everybody that we were correct on Emmett Johnson.
I don't like to do do that actually, but you can do that.
That's true. Okay, I'll handle that.
That's not a big thing I like to do.
But I mean, obviously, the other good part of it beyond just you and me being correct is It would be such a game changer for the offense. I mean, what are we talking about? If he's able to run the ball, that means that the offensive line is good. And if the offensive line is good, that means protection is good. They should be able to throw the ball. I mean, it really would just mean so many different things. And I just like
the guy, too. I like the guy. I like that he stuck around, came back, was going to leave, came back. He hasn't been, he was sort of just there in the background. He probably should have gotten more chances than he did early in his career, I think. But he did continue to come back, and now he and Raiola are like Larry and Balky or something. It's amazing. And I just old people will get it.
Let me get John. I'll send John the StreamYard and you can make the joke.
Number one, old people will get it. Number two, I don't think it really makes sense. So those are two problems with that. Oh, what I just said. But
awesome.
But yeah, I find myself really pulling for him. I don't, he's from Minnesota. I don't know. I like that about him. I like when we get guys from Minnesota who are running backs. Cool. I don't know. I mean, I'm down with Emmett Johnson. I'm excited for him, and I want to be right about him. And they need it. They need it. Like they just need it too. They need it. So
D'Lo's a hater. I don't think he's appreciated our Emmett Johnson love this offseason. He says ready to improve on that. That's true. D'Lo doesn't like anything, but
he doesn't like any running backs, especially.
Yeah, he says ready to improve on one rushing touchdown. Come on now. Like that is Emmett Johnson erasure, because every time they got down to the goal line situation, they would just put Dowdell on the field. Imagine if they gave like half of those carries to Emmett Johnson. Suddenly he has 5 rushing touchdowns instead of just 1. He also had a couple of receiving touchdowns, though, including one. Jack, Josh asked a question for our last chat sack where it was like, name your favorite Emmett Johnson touchdown. And we didn't get to it because we ran out of time. So I went back and I rewatched them, being, the pithy asshole that I am. Dude, the touchdown he had against USC was nice.
Pithy asshole.
It was nice. Because I was going to bring it up the next time we did a chat.
Was that that was a reception?
It was a reception. He made some really nice moves, got into the end zone. Look, Jack, I'm going to say something that I haven't said before. I'm a fan of Emmett Johnson.
We both are.
I think he's going to be good. Sue me.
Shake my hand on that.
Sue me.
Shake my hand. No.
Am I in the right spot? I'm not looking at the. There we go. Yeah, there we go. There we go. Yeah, good handshake meme, everybody. Great job by us. Anything else with practice tonight before we get on to the discussion of the day?
I don't know. I'm excited. To hear what people. I want to hear some stuff about the defense. Right. That's what I want to hear. I want to hear about who's making. You know what I want to hear? I want to hear McGahee and Shavers look like stars. That's what I want to hear.
I am interested, Jack, in the way they practice tonight and how, because sometimes you practice in a certain way and it could allow for those guys to be stars, and maybe other times not so much.
True,
I would be surprised if this was
if you're doing 2-hand touch, right?
Yeah, I'd be surprised if this was a real big nice. Yeah, I was wondering why your hand wasn't going a little further, so then we could.
Well, I didn't. I want
crossing over.
Okay, you need to critique everything that I do. My God,
I just was asking.
Holy hell!
I was just a little surprised.
Anything good enough for you?
Well, Jack, you've done. I said in a text to you last night, you've done a great job.
Okay.
So
nobody wants to hear it.
I've been complimenting you.
You're a pithy asshole. Josh Peterson, pithy asshole.
Pithy asshole. That was me. Hey, speaking of me, there was something a little bit earlier that was posted by Travis that I said was a compliment, and Travis's wife was worried that I think she thought I was going to hate her. She said about me, "That's Josh, right? He's got a good radio voice. I've always appreciated that when I have to listen to your crap." And he says next promo for the IED Club. You're not a fan of my voice work, Jack?
I mean, I guess it's fine. It's fine. I like.
Chuck, speaking of me, yes, exactly, Chuck. Thank you.
Speaking of things I do well.
Hey, if you want to compliment me, I will read that. I will absolutely. I won't. You don't even need to do.
Well, I mean, I don't think of myself. YouTube. Just to be clear, I don't think of myself like having a good radio voice.
For the record, I never thought that I did either until people started saying it.
And I don't think that about you either. Or really John or any I think
wow.
Nate Rohr, what? I just don't think it's about. Listen, you got to overcome.
Shitting on everybody in the local media.
Well, listen,
what are you gonna say next? Tom Chattel's not a good.
That's
writer?
not even anything you earn. You're just born with that. You can't even control that. But
that's true.
So like Chris Lofgren, who does our traffic, he's got an incredible radio voice. I think Nate Rohr, who does the show with me, I think he's got a really good radio voice, that kind of a thing, and delivery. I don't really have that. So
okay, well that's okay. We'll see when I
what Shane just said.
Yeah, that was pretty good. When I upgrade my microphone next week, I hope we'll see if suddenly Jack views my radio voice as solid. So stay tuned for next week's Wednesday
It's just
night
like
pod.
I'm not tuning into any like Josh Peterson ASMR videos or anything like that. It's just not. It's
really.
Fine. It's fine.
Even with the $3,000 mic that we used for the Groin Kick Chronicles.
Good evening.
What in the world was the first noise?
That's what they do on those things. They make all these noises. They're like,
Matt says, "What are you getting?" I'm getting the mic that Happer has for all of his pods. I'm getting one of those Shure microphones. Very excited. Hopefully, getting it on Monday or Tuesday.
Whatever Happer does, we do.
Yep, that's true. Yep, which we'd like to announce. Locked On I-80 Club starts on Monday morning, first thing every day. And for your next
sue
listen, check out the Saturday morning coffee show. All right, Jack. So that's Nebraska football. We'll see all the tweets. You're not going tonight, right? Because you got family in.
I'm golfing. I'm gonna have to watch the tweets while I golf.
Yeah. Hey, that's nice. So you'll sit in the golf cart while everyone's looking for their ball, and you can read tweets.
That high chance. I give myself over under a 5.5 holes before I quit, and just ride along.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. Interesting.
It'll be a much more pleasant experience for me and everyone I'm with if I'm not actually playing and I'm just enjoying the beautiful weather.
If you're just spending time,
having a little phone time, maybe having a beverage, bringing a Bluetooth speaker, playing some tunes, that kind of stuff.
Nice. Shane says, "Where are you golfing?"
Holmes, I think. Who cares? I don't know.
He does.
Holmes.
Wow. A lot of ASMR conversation right now, Jack, in the chat. Doesn't seem like people like it.
That's good. Much. That's good. That's going to change my plans for my next podcast.
I was going to say, do we have to change? We have to make an announcement on the announcement we were already going to make about the new podcast that we're doing this fall.
I'm going to do to counterbalance the Groin Kick Chronicles. I'm going to take the greatest wins of all time and just whisper read the box scores from beginning to end.
Oh my gosh! Yes, that's a great idea.
Actually, isn't
that's a great idea.
People would definitely listen to that when they go to bed.
One more thing on the Chronicles. I am sad that, and I think we talked about this on Wednesday, like we're already running out of the summer. One of the things that we were going to do was ranking the worst plays or having a worst plays pod. And I don't think we're going to have time to do that now because every podcast that we have from now until the season is scheduled.
I know we have too much Groin Kick Chronicles content to get through. We have not enough summer and too much Groin Kick Chronicles content.
Yeah, wow. For the first time, Jack, there was not enough summer. Remember the last 2 years when we were scraping the bottom of the barrel, and now we're like, we just don't have enough time anymore.
Mm-hmm.
We don't have enough time anymore.
It's a good problem to have, I suppose.
And again,
all right, let's talk about your main question. Let's
get
into your main question.
So again, I saw this SCD released an episode yesterday. Why do you love college football? And it actually was the majority of the pod, Jack, was listeners, subscribers to SCD, and they gave their reasons why they love college football. I don't want to steal the topic directly and say, hey, Jack, why do you love college football?
That's true.
But I thought it was a good prompt because, again, and I said this at the start, there is so much frustration with college football right now. Like you listen to conversations, and the majority of them are, I don't like this. I don't like this. I miss it when it was this way. I miss it when it was that way. I still love the sport. And you do too. And that's why I love doing shows with you because we are both really excited for week 0 in 3 weeks, week 1 the week after.
I can definitely put all that stuff aside on a Saturday in September.
Yep.
Easily.
Or Thursday or Friday.
Or
Tuesday or Wednesday.
Fully enjoy it with that being completely out of sight, out of mind, and not have it impact my enjoyment of that day, even 1 iota. So
correct.
Yeah, that's how I feel about that stuff. And yeah, I think my biggest concern with that stuff is just that the sport continues to exist in a way that looks like it has and does. I just don't think it's changed. The transfer portal's changed everything. I don't know. It doesn't seem that different to me. There's more different players on different teams. Doesn't affect my Saturday.
Yeah.
Exactly. Once it starts, I'll tell you when it starts affecting my Saturday. NIL transfer, whatever. But so far it really hasn't.
Yeah, and I'm with you there. So instead of doing that topic, though, we decided to let's narrow our focus a little bit and just say what we're excited for with the season. And I'd love to have responses too. So if you're hanging out in our Discord server today on the I-80 Club Discord server, you're hanging out in the YouTube channel, what are you most excited about with the 2025 college football season? And it can be Nebraska-based, Jack. It could be conference-based. It could be national-based. It could be anything that you are excited about. Do you want me to go first, or did you have something that you would like to dive into?
Go ahead, go. No, why don't you start if you've got something on deck?
Jack, this is something going off of last year, but I thought last regular season was one of the more enjoyable, wild regular seasons that we have had in college football in quite some time. And I think part of that, we heard a lot about the expanded playoff and how it was going to be a net negative for the season, right? Because not every game would matter as much. And while I think that is, of course, true, not every game does matter as much because you can lose one, if not two games, and still make the playoff. I think that being in the back of players' heads actually was kind of what caused more losses by the top tier of the sport. Georgia lost 2 games in the regular season for the first time in however many years. Ohio State lost 2 games in the regular season for the first time, I think, in 4 years, maybe. I loved that. I loved that every weekend was unpredictable. It might not have been as wild and as unwieldy as 2007, which is, of course, the gold standard for crazy seasons. But it was enjoyable that week after week you turned on the television and you just didn't know what was going to happen. And so I use that as a way to say, is it going to be like this every year now? Where every year a Saturday could feature multiple upsets of the best teams in the sport and the contenders are going to finish with 2 losses, if not 1, every year moving forward. And so the thing I'm most excited about is to see if this is now the new era of college football that we are living in. The talent has flattened a little bit. Georgia and Bama, as good as they are, they do not hold as much of the talent. At least it doesn't seem this way, Jack. I know maybe some of the blue chip ratios say actually it's pretty much the same, but gosh, it does seem like the talent is more dispersed, which I like because I think that makes for a more enjoyable and wild and unwieldy season. So I'm just excited to see if the season's going to be crazy again like it was in 2024.
If you're right about that, isn't that ironic given that one of the biggest critiques of what's happening in college football is it's becoming the haves and the have-nots? Meanwhile, what you're saying is the talent is more equally spread between the haves and the have-nots now, if you're right.
I think it is.
I don't know if you are or not, but it makes sense as a theory.
Yeah.
At least, but I agree. But I mean, like Vanderbilt beating Alabama, man, like that was
awesome. That was a moment.
Stuff you're right. And like, I didn't feel any less, feel like that was less exciting, particularly because, because you have a playoff or that kind of a thing. So, I'm with you. I agree with all of that. I'm still excited. If you asked me 15 years ago, I would have said I didn't want a playoff, or I did, but I was just worried that it was going to make the regular season feel so much different. And I remember talking to you last year saying, man, I think it's made the regular season. It hasn't made it less important. It's made it differently important, if that makes sense. And I remember really liking that every week, just having several games that mattered is kind of the difference instead of 3 games that really matter.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. Because didn't we see that deep into last season where, like Miami-Syracuse was a massive, massive football game last year. And I guess in most years it would have been a massive game, but it just added so much importance that they lost their playoff spot because they lost to Syracuse at the end of November because of dumb coaching from Mario Cristobal, for example.
Yeah. Or like that Alabama-Oklahoma game, right? That one, there's
massive
games that wouldn't, if you were just doing the top 4, they would be fairly irrelevant and they had huge impact on the playoff. So, that's one of the reasons it makes more games interesting. Now remind me, I should know this, but I'm forgetting. They did change the seeding for the playoffs this year, right?
They did. They're doing straight seeding. They're doing straight seeding now. So it's still a 12-team playoff, but if you are the 2 seed, but you're second in your conference, you will actually be the 2 seed. So going off of last year, the teams with the bye would have been Oregon, Penn State, Texas, and Georgia. Not in that order, but those 4 teams.
That was the problem last year. Everyone was like, well, they should do reseeding. No, maybe. But the problem is you got to seed them correctly to start. And that was the big issue with last year's bracket is that they weren't seeded. It made for matchups that disadvantaged higher seeded teams because seeding, giving people advantages based on seeding is based on correctly seeding them in terms of strength. So it'll make just a ton more sense to actually do that this time around. And so, another thing, Josh, I'm excited for is just seeing everyone's making all these conclusions about the playoff and in the format and everything. And I guess I just did that too. But it's 1 year. Like, there's going to be a completely different storyline this year, Josh. Completely about the playoff. And it might be like, oh, this worked perfectly, or oh, we found a whole new problem we didn't even know we had with this system. That's interesting to me and how that's going to develop. Like, I do enjoy that part of it. Man, Josh, in terms of other things, I still think that first weekend in December of the playoff was just freaking awesome. It was awesome. That Friday night Indiana Notre Dame game, the fact that was on and mattered in mid-December, loved it. Yeah, loved that. And it's going to be better this year. It should be, with the seeding fixed.
I would think so. You know, one of the things that I know, I've always viewed college football almost as like there's like this three-month part of the season, and then there's just like a few games after that I care about in bowl season. I know you and I differ on our enjoyment of bowl season, but Jack, it was really nice to feel like the college football season was longer because you had important games in December and then obviously many more important games in January. Like that was really, really fun. And so I'm with you. I'm hoping that the seeding is going to make for a much more enjoyable and better and more evenly matched up first round. And then that has a trickle down effect, trickle down college football playoff nomics, some would say, perhaps. And I just hope that it results in a much better, more even playoff. Though you can't always control that, though. The NFL playoffs have blowouts. March Madness has blowouts. Like that's sports sometimes, but it would be nice if this year had more than 2 or 3 close games, and they had maybe 6 or 7 close games.
The other thing I would say I'm excited about, Josh, is, this is one thing I don't know how long this will stay around, but it does seem like you have some pretty good non-conference matchups on the early slate this year. And like week 1 is really good.
Dude, Texas, Ohio State rocks. To start the season basically on that first Saturday is awesome.
You have Michigan, Oklahoma. You've got, I don't remember all of them now, but
Clemson, LSU is like the Sunday night game, I think. Obviously, Bill Belichick in North Carolina, they're playing on that opening Labor Day Monday, which is really fun, you know?
Yeah. And so I think there have been years, I remember years, Josh, we've looked at the week 1 and week 2 schedule and we'd be like, God, there's nothing. Right? There's just nothing. It doesn't seem to be the case this year. So I appreciate that. I hope that continues. That's one thing I would be disappointed if it really started to change. And we had that all out with the Nebraska-Tennessee discussion, that we don't have to do that again. So yeah, I think that, and there's a little bit of I kind of will appreciate, and I'm excited about sort of the newness wearing off in the Big Ten of USC, UCLA, Oregon, and Washington being in, and having that feel
like you're excited for the newness to not be there anymore.
Actually, just like a little bit more, just kind of being more familiar with them, starting to build that familiarity with the new teams that are in there. So I'm excited about that in terms of the season as well. But mainly, it's just full Saturdays of lots of good games, and like I said, the biggest thing is that there seem to be more good games now, or more games that are important, at least.
Yeah, we have I would say the month of September is pretty good. I guess I can't off the top of my head compare it to like the last 5 or 6 years, but I mean, we've just gone through a few of them. Ohio State, Texas is like such a banger to start the season, and it's always fun. And they just played, of course, in the college football playoff. You mentioned the Michigan Oklahoma game in week 2. I mentioned the Clemson LSU game that will be played. Like, those are some really good ones. Also, at the end of the month, it's a conference game now, but Penn State, Oregon is just really, really fun. Alabama plays Florida State in week 1. Like, that'll be interesting to see what happens there. Notre Dame plays Boise State this year. I think that's an October game. Like, that could be a lot of fun, as Boise is going to be viewed, I think, Jack, as like the obvious G5 team for a while. Another thing I'm excited for is Texas Tech and just the Big 12 in general. I built one of the football show interviews that we'll have in October around a really big Texas Tech football game, because they have become a team that I am really interested in over the course of the last few months, beyond like the obvious contenders, right? Like, we've spent a lot of time, maybe not you and me directly, but a lot of people have spent a lot of time talking about Ohio State. What are they going to look like? In Texas, what are they going to look like? And can Alabama regain their form? In Georgia, all those types of things. Like, Texas Tech has become the team away from the obvious contenders that I am endlessly interested in, because of how they're trying to win in this era, and that they're trying to win a conference that seems as wide open as any conference in college football. And so, like, can Texas Tech, can they spend money and actually force their way into the playoff? Like, that could be really cool. Plus, the obvious ties of Matt Rule and Joey McGuire, and now Garrett's going there too. Like, that stuff is interesting to me. Like that, like there is when I have talked to people, for the pod over the last few months, or when I've emailed people that know Matt Rule or covered Matt Rule, the conversation always ends up shifting to Texas Tech, and they'll have things to say, well, Joey McGuire and him, like they work together a lot. And so, like, that stuff is pretty interesting to me as well. I'm guessing I would still be interested, Jack, in Texas Tech if there wasn't the Rule McGuire tie, but that really does kind of level it up a little bit more for me just from a local perspective.
And it goes to what you said at the very initial, which is another of the big things. It's just, there was a very defined period in college football where it felt like Alabama or Georgia or maybe Clemson it was predestined at the beginning of the season that they were going to roll over everyone. And it doesn't feel like that with anyone anymore. And that's awesome. Like it just doesn't feel that way anymore. There was a time when I wondered, I was like, well, will it ever not feel like this again? And it definitely does now, right? People are, people picking, there's no real clear consensus number one team this year, which is wild.
Correct. Yeah. I don't even think we barely mentioned Penn State so far today, but yeah, they might be the closest to them or Texas, right? And speaking of the Big Ten, what do you think about this one, Jack? Is thing to be most excited for? D'Lo mentions the Big Ten battle for fourth. Dude, that is so wide open because I think collectively the consensus is Penn State, Ohio State, Oregon playoff teams from the Big Ten. Who's the fourth? Here's what I would ask you, Jack. Is there a fourth? Could this be a 3-bid league for the Big Ten this year? Because I am not buying into Illinois, and I don't think you are either. I think a lot of people expect Indiana. Indiana's certainly not going 11-1. Can Michigan hop up that much? Like, that's a lot. Can Nebraska? Can Iowa? Can USC? Can Washington? There's a real world, in my opinion, where the Big Ten is a 3-bid league.
There's a big group. There's a big group of teams there that will be vying for that, and eventually that'll be separated out quite a bit. I'm excited to watch, fingers crossed, knock on wood, Wisconsin fall apart.
Ooh, that's fun.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, that's fun.
You'd have a good time with that. You'd have a really good time with that if that
That's
happened.
I'd enjoy that quite a little. Yeah, I think I'd enjoy that. That'll do. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you'd probably have a really good time. You'd have a really good time.
I think that's gonna work.
Yeah. Ooh, Riz says, I think one of the top 3 teams in the Big Ten misses the playoff. Who's the most obvious, Jack, out of Ohio State, Penn State, Oregon? Who would you pick out of that group to not make the college football playoff in 2025 if you had to pick one?
God. I can make arguments for all 3 of them. I can make arguments for all 3 of them.
I think I would argue probably for Oregon missing just because I don't.
That was my first thought.
The quarterback situation, right?
That's about the players, though. And Penn State, it's about just never winning the big
Franklin.
Game. Yeah. And then Ohio State's just about that whole situation just being sort of psychotic in a way that could be awesome, also that could fall apart at any moment. At any moment, it feels like Ohio State could just crash down.
Biggest argument against Ohio State would be Matt Patricia as their defensive coordinator.
Yeah.
That would be like, that is almost where I would start. Like, I give the benefit of the doubt to Ryan Day and offense and quarterbacks, but Matt Scribator says Ohio State, I could see none of their quarterbacks hitting. Like, if Julian Sayin didn't hit, that would stun me.
Dude.
But that's how they would have to miss the playoff.
There's a world where they lose to Texas, and he's right back on the hot seat. Like, at least in terms of Ohio State fans. And you've got all this negativity around the program. This is what happens. And so it's just that program has always been like that. They're like Nebraska, but on steroids in that way.
Riz says Ohio State did have some significant brain drain. Yeah, they lost Chip Kelly. He's gone. They lost Jim Knowles. He's gone. So they have new coordinators on offense and defense. They have a new quarterback. I mean, they are replacing a ton.
But as D'Lo, I remember, but then they're fascinating because as D'Lo pointed out in another podcast during the chat, he said they also probably have the best offensive and defensive player in all of college football.
Correct. They have Caleb Downs on defense. They have Jeremiah Smith on offense. Yeah. You can make an argument they have like 2 of the top 5 players in college football. Yeah. 2 of the top 5, and they're on
Royals
on
Girls. Royals Girl says this: Ohio State is going to be awesome to observe as a conference opponent while also being super excited. It's not my team. Yeah, I kind of get that. Even though they won a national championship, it just seems wow. It just seems mood swings and intense and just, it's a lot, which is
Jack,
what Nebraska is. But
4 weeks from today, they play Texas. What is your early lean on that game?
I'm always going to be, I say all that about Ohio State, but I say
and
this.
Then you're going to pick them?
I don't know. I feel like I don't know what Arch Manning really is still, which is unbelievable. But I still don't feel like I know. And I just have in my head that that Texas still is going to stub their toe at some point, because they always have, in the post Mac Brown era. So
that's interesting. They made the playoffs and they've made it to the Final Four in each of the last 2 years.
Yeah.
We're still, that's far. It'd be to get to all the way to the semis is as far as you can go without making
I guess,
the championship game.
Actually, but what usually happens is they lose a really random game somewhere to Baylor or Kansas or something like that. Is what
not anymore. I mean,
they lost to Baylor last year.
Who? Texas?
I think Texas lost to Baylor last year.
Texas didn't play Baylor. They're in the SEC now. They lost to Georgia twice.
Oh, God. I'm thinking of 2 years ago. All right.
Yeah, you're
my bad.
Yeah,
I'm thinking good. 2 years ago. Okay, I still don't know my conference alignment.
Yeah, remember they're in the SEC now. They played for the title. They lost to Georgia.
I'll say this, Jack. When did they go to the SEC? I hadn't heard that. Huh. I'm Googling that to make sure.
Check it out on Wikipedia. Hopefully somebody has updated it. Let me throw out another thing I'm excited for. Arch Manning. I can't wait to see how good this kid really is, because I have been in the viewpoint for the last year of, if he is this guy, why hasn't he replaced Quinn Ewers? Because I never really thought Quinn Ewers was that good. So I guess I've been a little shocked, that he wasn't able to unseat him. And look, maybe it was because Quinn Ewers had a lot of experience and they didn't want to upset the apple cart. But Jack, there seems to be two lines of thought with Arch Manning right now. There's the one side is, it's Arch Manning. Of course he's going to be great. He's a Manning. Why would you think otherwise? And then there's this other, and I tend to be in this one a little bit more, is, are we sure, though? Whenever I watched him, I came away impressed with his athleticism. He's much more mobile than you would expect a Manning to be, though his dad was a wide receiver, so it makes sense. And I think he's solid, but I never have watched him and just am like, wow, that is the best quarterback that I've ever seen in my life. I can't wait. I can't wait to see how good.
And he did the whole sit and wait his turn thing that seems to work in the NFL.
2 years,
right? And a lot of times in college. Hey, by the way, shout out, special celebrity sighting. Look at that. Look at that.
Michael Severe. Wow, we even put him on the screen without a super chat. Michael, you're a special person.
Celebrities get up in line first. So
nice.
And he's right.
Ohio State was a goal line and stayed away from being a 3-loss team. Damn,
it's
you,
crazy. That's what I'm talking about. They seem like they could be just unbelievable or completely implode at any moment. At any moment. They almost lost to Nebraska. Crap. I mean,
they did, yeah. People forget they almost lost to Nebraska. They almost lost to Nebraska. They almost lost to Penn State.
And then they looked completely unbeatable during the playoff at times, multiple times.
Yeah.
So
I can't wait to. I cannot wait to see. I cannot wait to see Texas. I cannot wait to watch them against. Well, I'll pull up their schedule real fast, but I cannot wait to watch them against Ohio State in the opener. I'm trying to remember who else they play. Their non-conference is pretty mid. Otherwise, they got Florida on the road in early October. They had the Red River Shootout, and Georgia, Jack, this year is November 15th, super late in the year, and that was a mid-October game last time, if I remember right. So I can't wait to see.
It was right in the middle of the season last year.
Yeah, remember that? We were watching live because people were throwing shit on the field.
That's right. That was that game. Oh my gosh! On the interception. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Jordan says, when has Ohio State won a non-con game against another big-name team? Seems like they always lose those. D'Lo points out they did beat Notre Dame twice recently in the regular season. Yeah, the last they would have won would have been the goal line stand or goal line touchdown in 2023.
Oh, the Lou Holtz game.
Yeah, where's Lou Holtz? Good times.
Yeah, I always think, whenever I think of that, I think of the Baker Mayfield planting the flag in the turf, which started all this stuff.
Yeah,
Ohio State flag planting.
So you look at the ones before that. So they beat Notre Dame 2 years in a row, but before that they lost to Oregon and they lost to Oklahoma. That was all the way back in 2017. I don't remember 2018 or 2019 non-conference games. So God, that was so funny. Where's Lou Holtz? That was so ridiculous.
I know. I was sitting there. I was at a friend's house. It was during a law school reunion we were having, and we were watching the end of that game. And I was like, wait, what? What did he just say? Wait.
Rose Girl says, Oh, sorry.
Crazy. No, go ahead.
She says, seeing some of the talking heads talking about how NFL teams are going to tank for Arch Manning is insane. I'm going to take that as summer topics and not reality. I do think that I think that people think he is that guy. Again, it's split into two camps. Yeah. I think that people expect that by the time the season gets rolling, he will be the obvious number one. How
does Arch Manning with a silver helmet and a blue star on it sound at Josh Peterson?
You want to talk about something that is just a little too unwieldy for all of the world to handle? Arch Manning, Dallas Cowboys quarterback.
Sounds great.
That would be absolutely
sounds great
bonkers.
As someone who's about to eat popcorn.
Yeah. Keena says, is that what the Cowboys are doing? Yeah, maybe that's why they're going to trade Micah Parsons away, so they can just tank and suck ass. They don't have Micah. The defense is going to be bad.
Okay, let's talk. We got 10 minutes left. Let's talk about this question from a Nebraska perspective now, Josh. What are you looking forward to from a Nebraska perspective?
Can we do this without mentioning Emmett Johnson and Dane Key?
No Emmett Johnson and no Dane Key. I mean, I can start. I mean, I've already made my point. I am hopeful to see Emmett Johnson be successful for so many reasons, and that would be awesome. And it would be huge for the team. I'm excited again, and I know I'm always a broken record on these guys too. Man, I'm excited to see, especially three guys on the defense. And that's Shavers, and that's McGahee. And speaking of Michael Severe, he's got me really fired up about Van Poppel, too. Mm-hmm. I'm really excited about finally seeing those guys be the guys instead of part-time or 4-game players or whatever it has been for all of those. Super excited and hopeful that all three of them were going to be like, oh my gosh, these guys are difference makers, and they're now full-time. They're kind of the stars of the defense right now. So I'm excited to see that, and just especially what they can all do. I don't know. So that's one of the things for me. I'm excited. I mean, even outside of Key and Hunter, just kind of, I'm really curious about how all these transfers are going to do. And we mentioned the offensive line transfers. We mentioned the wide receiver transfers, but geez, there's 3 of them on defense that'll probably be significant contributors as well, that I feel like I don't know a whole lot about how they're going to fit in exactly. I'm excited for that. I'm excited to see, and look, you can be like, Jack, you're so cliche. You're the stereotypical Nebraska fan. I'm excited for Heinrich Harburg to see what Heinrich Harburg and how they can use him.
Hell yeah, that's fun.
I talked to Kevin Suits, who was at practice last week, and I asked him, I was like, I know you just kind of watch him work out in shorts and stuff, but it was like, did anything stand out to you? Did anything impress you? And he's like Heinrich Harburg did. It was like just how he looks, and seeing him move like a tight end instead of a quarterback is really different after having watched him a whole lot as Kevin had. So that he did kind of for Harburg, for me, what Severe did for Van Poppel. So
Matt, Chuck both mentioned Carter Nelson. That's a good one.
And what is his official status? Do we have that?
Do we know?
Is he?
I think he's good.
That's great. Good. So
the way everyone's talking about him, I think he's good.
There were so many rumors during the summer. I just didn't know what to believe.
There was a lot of general fear, but he's practicing.
And now, especially with Markway out, you he's going to be, if that's true, add him to the list of things I'm super excited to see.
Yeah. I guess we'll probably get more of an idea on Carter Nelson tonight. But yeah, I think he's fine.
God, so I'm just excited for the possible feel of winning the freaking first game and not having this whole breakdown a week into the season of taking stock of the entire program.
Jack, I couldn't fall asleep.
Just a normal ass win to start off the season.
I couldn't. I'll give you my actual answer in a moment, but I couldn't fall asleep last night, and my mind started wandering to us doing a post game show the day Nebraska plays Michigan, and if they won and what that would look like. And I was like, wow, that would be incredible. Imagining how happy you would be if Nebraska was 4-0 with a win over the Michigan Wolverines in Memorial Stadium, a ranked win for the first time in forever. So just something to maybe get yourself excited for the season. Look, it's funny, but this name was thrown out here a couple of minutes ago by Matt, and this is my answer beyond Emmett Johnson. Dylan Raiola. I know it's so obvious, and yet it's not. Because it's this weird, we saw too much of him last year, as we've talked about many times, and in a way that I don't know, maybe it's lessened him in the eyes of people, and I know we keep comparing him to DJ Lagway, right? But There is more excitement, and DJ Lagway's hurt right now, but there's more excitement for Lagway because the unknown. People love the unknown. The unknown. It's there's that Simpsons meme that's been really going around a lot lately. Where what is it like? It's almost a door number 1, door number 2, and it's like, maybe it's Family Guy. Either way, it's like, but this could be anything. And I saw it most recently used with yesterday with Micah Parsons. It's like, you could trade Micah Parsons for 2 first-rounders, and one of them could be as good as Micah Parsons. But you have Micah Parsons. That's what this is. Hey, DJ Lagway, he could be anything. And that's not to say, of course, you and I are in agreement, Dylan Raiola nowhere near a finished product. I want to see if this is legit. Like, I want to see what he can do with a way better play caller, and better receivers, and hopefully a better offensive line and running game, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. I'm excited.
Yeah.
I as excited as we were a year ago, I don't know if I'm as excited as that, but I'm more intrigued, I think, at this point in time.
It is a great point, Josh, because now I think about it. And when I think about Dylan Raiola, and this is probably the right thing to do, but I think of the end of the season. I don't think of the beginning of last season. And I almost forget that there were some throws. Oh, hey.
Michael.
Super chat that says nothing. Awesome. Thank you,
Michael.
We'll count the other one. But man, you remember a couple of who did they play the first game last year? I can't remember. Nebraska.
UTEP.
Do you remember a couple of the throws in that game? Remember the one where he threw it kind of back? He was running one way and threw it back across his body. I freaked out. The touchdown pass to Banks in that game. He had one where he hit Neor in stride in that game. He had a couple against Illinois where I was like, oh, baby, this is going to be a wild, fun ride watching this guy.
Yeah.
And then there just weren't that many more of those moments. I kind of forgot that I felt that way at one point. And I don't even consider, it's interesting. You're asking me what I'm excited about. I'm not even mentioning the possibility of sort of that feeling from those games coming back again, but it certainly could, right? It certainly could. So,
yeah. My wife, Riz points out not just better wide receivers in terms of talent, but better wide receivers in terms of effort and coaching. Jack, remember when Holgerson showed up and he was basically shitting on the wide receivers for their lack of effort on blocking, and immediately they got better at blocking, and now they have Da'Keil Shorts as the wide receivers coach? Yeah, what does that ultimately look like? It's so funny. I know that a couple people mentioned him, but like Ja'Cory Barney has also become this weird, we don't talk about him maybe as much as we should. We
don't talk about Barney like we don't talk about Renault. Never mind.
Yeah, great. Another good reference by you. I can't wait to see what he looks like. Like, Jack, I think he is probably the second most receptions on the team guy this year. It's Dane Key 1 and then Ja'Cory Barney number 2. Like, that's a hell of a situation to put yourself in.
Also, I think he said he wants to be like the leading kick returner in the nation or something too.
Punt returner, yeah.
Punt returner. Yeah, that's what it is. Yeah. Which, yes, on Ja'Cory Barney. Yes, the kind of thing he does. He really gets a lot. We think so quickly about the transfer wide receivers.
Dane Key and Isaiah Hunter, yeah, every time.
That sometimes you have to be reminded. We've done this in a few conversations, right? Thank goodness there's a Twitter account out there that is focusing on appreciating.
I always forget about this until you bring it up every week.
And I own it.
Yeah, you just tweeted at him 100 times.
In your head. Anyway, related, special teams not being terrible. That sounds fun. Average special teams, Josh. What a delight. What a delight at average special teams sounds like. Instead of a 28-yard punt, a 41-yard punt.
That sounds incredible. That does sound incredible. Hey, things to be excited for. Mike Eckler being a crazy person on the sidelines. How fun does that sound? Running and jumping around.
How about like a nice crisp snap on a punt?
Wow, okay. Now you're speaking my love language.
Let's put like a little clip of those together and like put Thunderstruck behind it. That sounds amazing.
Jack, last week I went back and I rewatched some of the Wisconsin and Maryland, or Wisconsin and Boston College wins. And dude, I forgot that in the Boston College game they went for it on 4th down, or they did a fake field goal multiple times because they did not trust their field goal unit to do anything properly. It was pretty incredible. So like them actually feeling comfortable to kick field goals or kick PATs this season. I know that this is such a weird thing to say, but it's like, how do you get more points? Well, you feel comfortable kicking, in all sorts of situations because you feel comfortable in the snap working. Like that's in itself a game changer. How do you win 1-score games? I don't know. You make field goals. You make your extra points. You feel comfortable, attempting your extra points and field goals.
Yeah, that alone, competent special teams sounds weirdly sexy.
It does. It does indeed. I'm excited.
Yeah, I am bummed. You know what I'm bummed about? I just see Chuck mention Colorado. I'm gonna miss the complete carnival of Colorado.
Me too. It's a bummer that's not on the schedule.
It's not gonna be the same. And then Deion's health is sad too, and that makes it a little. I want the best for him, and like health wise, I don't. But like that, it's just not gonna be the same. It'll never be the same. That's over.
Yeah, the lack of we're excited for Cincinnati. It's fun. It's an Arrowhead. There's a lot of cool things to like about that. But Jack, we built our off seasons the last 2 years around the Colorado game, and we talked about it so much, and we don't have that this year.
It's not even just that. It's just like every Saturday, I'm like, oh God, Colorado's on. Let's go cheer against them. Come on, so fun.
Do you think that, in going back to the broader big picture one? Do you think that you're going to have those feelings or interest levels in North Carolina because of Belichick?
That's true. Does that replace them? I'm not going to hate them.
Yeah,
it's going to be
I got to check out North Carolina this Saturday.
It will be the circus sideshow aspect, kind of.
It definitely
which would be nice. It's a very different type of one. It's a different type of act. This is like the bearded lady versus the 3-headed llama or whatever. But
sure.
But yes, hopefully that will fill some of that role that I lose from my interest in Colorado last year. But
I won't be that interested unless they're flaming out or amazing. And UCF, yeah. I mean, obviously.
Oh, and UCF,
yeah.
Like it or not,
you
can be mad at me or not, but I will be, and everyone will. You're lying if you say you won't be. You'll be interested in their games. You are lying to yourself if you say you won't be. Everyone will.
Yeah, Rosker, but we're not allowed to talk about UCF.
Embrace it.
Stop talking about them, Jack.
Okay.
Stop talking.
You may have different feelings than I do, but you'll be interested in it.
And for those feelings, go to HuskerMax.com and read Jack's column that went up in July. Are we going to be able to bully you into writing more, Jack? You're not doing much these days. You do a radio show and another radio show and a podcast, and you're doing all sorts of behind-the-scenes stuff with the podcast right now, and there will probably be other podcasts that you're involved in, et cetera, et cetera. You should write
eventually.
more.
Eventually, I will.
Okay.
Eventually, I will, but it's probably not going to be in the next few weeks.
Bummer. All right. Well, that's what we're excited for the college football season. A reminder, Jack. Let's just go through quickly the next week. Tomorrow night, Sunday night, subscribers exclusive. You will get the newest episode of Volleyball State, which is a Big Ten preview. So that will go up tomorrow for subscribers at 7:00 as Volleyball State moves into their in-season schedule. At some point, Jack, over the next few weeks, Sunday nights will be a live podcast for Jeff Sheldon and Lincoln Arneal. So that will start soon, but tomorrow night that will be available. If you are hanging out in the YouTube page publicly today, first of all, we'd love for you to give us a like and a subscribe. Volleyball State will be available for you on Tuesday. So if you want early access to those, and when they do live pods, if you'd like to participate, again, patreon.com/I80 Club. So that's on Sunday. Jack and I on Wednesday. We will do the next Be Kind Husker Rewind Groin Kick Chronicles crossover. 2023 Minnesota, the season opener. 2 years ago, we were also very excited for the season to start, and then it started in the most horrific way possible. That game was in the top 10 of the Chronicles, was it not, Jack? And so that game will show up, or that game was in the most recent episode, and we will be rewatching it on Wednesday. I have not rewatched it since it happened. It should be pretty terrible.
So many devastating season openers. So many. And I know it didn't happen last year, but geez, I still feel like we got to get out of that.
Yep, that game came in at number 10 in the most recent episode. So that will be on Wednesday. Speaking of the Chronicles, on Thursday morning, publicly, the final rankings episode will come out. That will be 5 through 1. There are 5 games left. Which game will be number 1?
I don't like that graphic. Makes my physically.
I think I did a pretty good job. Isn't that a good graphic?
I'm not talking about the design, although I can't read what the K word is. But
it's like an old Sports Illustrated cover. Don't you remember how SI would do that?
I think my doctor would recommend I not look at that very often. So I'm gonna.
Okay.
Tell me
here, I'll take it off the screen for you. There you go. So that's coming up on Thursday. And again, for subscribers, Thursday, you will get the epilogue, which we already have ready to go. Jack and I recorded that in a different studio, so that will be available for you on Thursday. One more thing on the Chronicles. Yeah, what do you got?
Well, Matt just said, and he does all our tweets in the games. He said there's a definite theme to Jack's tweets from 23 Minnesota. See if you can pick up on it. I do not know what that is.
All right, can't wait to find out.
I'm sure I'll figure it out as I did during the game last time.
The obligatory Jack Mitchell tweet for that game was one of my favorites, where you talk about how you're eating a bowl of ice cream and you're like, I probably shouldn't do this, and then I have a radio show tomorrow. Yeah.
I'm ready to wait. I heard that when I was listening to the last episode. That was pretty funny.
Pretty miserable. We also know that the most recent episode before yesterday's, or Thursday's rather, is not on YouTube. There was some technical issues. Like, it is hard to describe what the hell happened, partly because we don't really know what the hell happened. That is not available on YouTube. We're TBD on that, but there is audio available, of course, for the podcast, the entire rankings. The audio gets a little sideways, about halfway through, Jack, you and me talking about it. So it was wild, everything that happened, the confluence of events. We apologize for that. But if you're wondering why isn't the 20 through 11 available on YouTube, that would be why.
That may be re-recorded at some point.
Yes, because we would obviously like to have all of that available in video form. And then finally, Jack and I will be dropping on Friday morning a +1 that won't be entirely sports focused. So we will have that coming up on Friday, as Jack and I are recording an interview on Tuesday night. So stay tuned for that one on Friday, and then we'll be doing another Saturday morning coffee show. And again, we're very close. We got some other irons in the fire behind the scenes as we get ready to ramp up our biggest football season yet.
I hope maybe, in the next, I would say a week from now, we may have multiple announcements.
Yes.
I hope.
Yeah, I hope so too. All right.
So
all that available. Subscribe, patreon.com/I80 Club for as low as $5 a month. $8 gets you access to everything that we do. And we would love to have you in these final few weeks before the football season and volleyball season kicks off. Our coverage, we expect to be better than ever before. For Jack, I'm Josh. Enjoy the day. Thank you so much for joining us on the Saturday Morning Coffee Show. Goodbye.